So we are back with round 4 of the October Wixoss North American Ceremony, hosted by Carta Magica. Nearing the halfway point of today's festivities, we have excuse me, yet another match here up today. And it looks like it is Tamago Center with Magica and Machina with, I'm going to assume, Adams. Again. Not that I complain. It's very interesting to see how some of these other decks have matchups with Adams, considering Adams is one of the builds that I highly expected to see in this ceremony. It is very nice to see how these are stacking up, is the word I'm looking for. It's very interesting to see how these are stacking up against it. So we see double Hiket just to try and rearrange what's going on at the top, just to try and set up draws for later, and then the straight pass going into Deuce's turn. Magica float, discarding the Gallium to get the draw 3. Gallium in center, Ipatam in the right. Do see that the Machina Wing Slash to get rid of you see two open swings here. Discarding the Steampunk for hand size. No bursts notable. Folklore discarded for the draw 3 of Magica float. Another Heket just to set up the top decks. Probably, unless the Heket was drawn off, I probably would have done the Heket first, but... That's just me. Like swinging into Gallium to draw 2, discard 1. Discarding on a Mirage off of the forced discard of the Gallium. Swing Heket, face, and on a Mirage. Not really much to add to the field, so that looks like that Steampunk is just going to go to hand instead. And Servant to guard the Lyrig attack. Random drain. Another random drain. This time, instead of the Bradamante, we're going to see a random drain discarded. So the battle of the random drains has begun. A third... Is that a third random drain? That was a third random drain, right? I'm not hallucinating, right? Caesar and Center will basically have Assassin due to the fact that the opposing Bruno is 5k or less. So that is a free damage on Bruno, or on Caesar here. The Pallium is going to get rid of the Ket, opening up that slot in front of the Epitom. The real questions here... You see a 5-5 life cloth difference here. Caesar is going to swing in. Buckler is going to be the burst we see here. So it looks like the pay to Sayonara, to the Ipatom. Pallium's just going to down itself. It can't get over the Heket, unfortunately, and then we get the Servant for that, so we only get a 1 damage lead here now, without having to use any of the level 2 assists, which is always very nice, not having to burn your level 2s early. But still, only will have 6 limit to play with, 2 cards in hand. Using Tamagos once per game, both players draw 2, but the other player has to discard at random. Not a very convincing want here, because unfortunately with a hand size like that, getting what you would want to see out is very rough. Or what you'd rather see discarded is very rough here. Bradamante coming in to give... It's like the Pallium, it has to be vanished. And then the opponent has to discard off of it, which it's an enter for a discard, basically. It's not bad in this sense. Double Brunos. Unfortunately, only one of those Brunos is going to activate, since Bruno has to be in the center lane, which is really makes me kind of sad, thinking that Caesar's the only one that doesn't have to be in the center lane out of all the level 2 generals. But we'll see the congrats version of Ana Mirage getting rid of the Caesar in the center. See the grow to Machina Smash. Smash is going to send Bruno to vanish, which is quite fine here. See, no burst off of that. The rig swing, no need to swing that Bradamante, just because it's going to be a forced discard on top of the enter anyways. Might as well get the discard to go with it. So the random discard off of Tamago's attack ability gets the Gallium. And then Larig attack. Will it go through? It goes through. No burst here. The enter charge for an Orion here. Deuce 3 coming out. H2 in center, paying the cost to draw a card. Probably will see the H2O rise on top, which, there it is. H2O rise on top, forcing a discard. Unfortunately getting a servant in that sense, but kind of happens when you only have like one card in hand to begin with. Sometimes you just lose the servant that you've been clutching for. Steampunk coming out. We'll see Xeno used along the side, well, Xeno paid for along the once per game of Deuce. Like we're grabbing an Ana Mirage, Gallium, and another Ana Mirage. So 2 Ana Mirages here. Top of the Gallium. Ana Mirage rising over the remaining Signy on the field. Deuce attaching her, or over the Steampunk, sorry. Deuce attaching the 0 to the Ana Mirage, gets rid of the Bradamante just off of the Deuce. Just off of the Deuce constant already. So we're going to attack phase abilities here. Probably going to Xeno. Xeno's going to get the draw 3 after that forced discard. Probably hoping to see another servant in hand. No harm, if not any, seen. Not opting to use any of the level 2 assists here. Or probably still debating it. Passing the priority, no assist being used here. Smart, conservative play. Can afford to take the 2 damage, especially if through a servant. Discarding a neon tetra. But that will clear off the remainder of the board. No burst. Random drain. Probably going to down and freeze the... or down the H2O, but there's nothing really to down anyways. But the discard is going to give a Pallium. Or a PA, whatever the element is. Now it proceeds to... Scominx's turn. Didn't have the servant, unfortunately, but we'll see Summer Live Blues being used here. Bottom decking the Ana Mirage. That does open up a lane here. Random drain, discard, forcing another discard out from the closing hand. Everything being frozen here. See the grow to Machina Smash. Going to get a Fuyuki off of the Machina Smash. Fuyuki is going to get rid of the H2O completely. And since it is a Vanish by Rule effects, the H2O's ability does not proc to return herself to the field. Polaris down center. Believe there is enough in deck to get this damage off of the mill 10, which if Ken wants to avoid, would need to burn his level 2 Madoka assist to dodge completely. Right now, as a matter of the question, is we will see the MGD used. Now it looks like it's going to be a pay for. Question is, what resources to pay for? Do you pay with all the enter and still take 2 damage? We're discarding the Servant and then paying 2 enter to negate any Larig attack here. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, 2 cards left. So that's still going to be a damage going through off of the draw. So we already know this is a 2 damage turn. Gallium here. Oh, baby. Is this a 3 damage turn? This is definitely going to be a 3 damage turn. If he does the draw too, this is definitely going to be a 3 damage turn. But the problem with how Gallium is worded, if you were to pass up resolving the life burst, your opponent doesn't discard. Or your opponent won't discard. Because you're choosing not to activate the life burst. But it's going to activate it anyways, force the opponent to have to discard, and will take damage off of the refresh penalty. H2O being the refresh penalty, that's a oof to see too. No burst here. We already know MGD is going to negate the Larig attack, but you can still activate the Tamago's abilities to force a random discard. And Auto Mirage is going to be taken out with a random discard. And then returns to Ken's turn. H2 in the center, getting a draw, random drain. Hopefully see something a little better here. Not looking too good right now. For Ken here. Brian in the left slot. Brian also released in this past set. Not sure how I feel about the card personally, but it basically tells your opponent that they can't enter charge off of their field because it'll just go to trash. Since during the opponent's turn, if you would leave the opponent's field, this goes to trash. The opponent's turn, you can draw a card, and you can ditch a level 1 Signy to freeze everything on the opponent's field. Freeze all Signy, should specify freeze all Signy. But the freeze ability is the powerful one, because typically, a lot of times when something gets frozen on the opponent's field, your natural, not natural, but the one thing you'd want to do is enter charge it away to get it off the field. But Orion says, no, you can't do that, so Instead, it'll end up going to trash anyways if you try to enter charge. The only thing you could really do in this situation is, the only kind of thing you can really do in this situation is just take the L, trash your entire field, and call it a day. In that sense, unless you can get rid of Orion before your enter phase starts, which is really hard to do in, you know, a blue-black deck unless your last life burst is something notable enough to be able to get it. So it's like attaching Deuce 1 to the H2 down center. And then Deuce 2 will be attached to the A2, the H2 in center. PA is going to have Deuce 1. So right now, Phalaris is within that. Phalaris is within vanish range for the H2 in center anyway, so that's going to be a free damage. This is an entire full damage board, it appears. So you're definitely going to need to see the full 3-stop of Magica in order to prevent all the damage necessary. Because, unfortunately, you need to at least live 1 damage. Or, you're going to take 1 no matter how you pay for the Magica in this situation. Because you pay the 5 enter for the Magica, the grow, the 2, and I believe her 3rd stop is a discard 2. So there goes the last 2 cards in hand, meaning you're at least going to take 1 damage here. And unless you have a servant in hand, it's going to be rough regardless. So Magica stopping the PA from the direct attack. And that's it. Interesting. I just realized it said like half of what I was just saying muted. But anyways, so we see the game be taken by Tamago there. But in a sense, it's very interesting to see how a lot of these matches are playing, but we still have 3 more rounds to go, and still a lot more heated action to see here. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with round 5 of the October Wixoss ceremony.